From Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, I'm Alex Barth. He's Evan Lazar for CLNS. The Patriots underway with their final preparations before they head down to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. And Evan, the big question is what running backs will play in that game for the Patriots on Sunday when they face off against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, Rex Burkhead was back at practice in a limited capacity today, so maybe we'll see a little bit of him on Sunday, but obviously he's in concussion protocol, so you know how that goes.
You can't mess with that.
It's really not up to the Patriots necessarily. It's kind of up to Rex to pass that concussion protocol, but even before Rex got hurt, the running back position was kind of on my radar anyways.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they have a between the tackles back, especially with Jeremy Hill tearing his ACL. They specifically do not have a guy that is really a bell cow running back in this offense right now. I think that they view both Rex Burkhead and James White as receiving running backs. That's what we saw last year, and that's why Dion Lewis kind of supplanted them as a regular in the Patriots offense, was because of that. You know, also because Rex got hurt, but big time with James White, he's a receiving running back, right? And both of those guys, I think, struggled a little bit against the Texans. There were open running lanes to be had, and they just didn't really see them or didn't hit the holes. And I think that, you know, it's going to be something to monitor going forward. If SONY MICHEL does not return, then we're going to, you know, see kind of a running attack that's not going to be as good as they want it to be.
Do you think we see SONY this week, and if so, what would his hypothetical role be?
Well, I think it's a good sign that SONY talked to the media yesterday.
Yep.
Usually once they start talking to guys, that usually means that, you know, they're getting closer and they're working their way back. He didn't want to really commit to where he was in his recovery and if he was going to come back or not, but he's kind of the X factor of this running game, right? Like if they don't get SONY MICHEL back, then they're not really going to have a sustainable running game, I don't think, going forward. So this whole thing, I think, you know, you're going to see a lot of short passes to the running backs, a lot of screen passes. This is kind of the 2010, 2011 offense where the passing game is almost an extension of the running game.
Right.
We're going to have to see a lot of that this week.
How about Kenyon Barner, signed this week, the former Oregon Duck? People think he was signed as a punt returner. You're led to believe that he's going to be the punt returner, 29 career punt returns, and he had, as you pointed out on Twitter last night, a good year returning punts last season, but he is a running back. It's the position he played in college. He's played it at times in the NFL. Do you think he gets any snaps on the offense this week?
He might have to, right? I mean, they might be in a situation if it's only James White and him that are healthy and ready to go.
That's right. And those numbers are really thinning out.
Right. You're really going to have to turn to Kenyon Barner. I was surprised that the Patriots did not call up Ralph Webb after the Jeremy Hill news. I know Barner adds that kind of punt return ability that you're talking about, but I was pretty surprised that Ralph Webb, a guy that really showed out in the preseason as a between the tackles back, wasn't the guy that they called up. Or even now with Rex Burkhead's concussion, they're not thinking of calling him up. Now, obviously, it could be a Saturday call up, and late in the game they could decide to do it. But I think that, you know, going forward, Kenyon Barner is not the answer. He's not, you know, going to save any prayers or anything.
Short term, could he be the answer?
Yeah, I think we could see a little bit of Barner at running back.
So there's one name I was thinking about driving in today that the Patriots really could have used this week. And you talked about going back to last week, their struggle on special teams. Now they need that depth running back.
You're going Brandon
Bolden?
Bolden?
They're missing Brandon Bolden right now? Look, again, not the long-term answer, but this is the kind of game in the past where they get, you know, 7-8 carries out of Brandon Bolden, and it would help get them to where they needed to be. I think this week would have been a big Brandon Bolden week, and I wonder if Bill Belichick is kicking himself for letting Bolden get away to Miami right now. We'll have full coverage leading up to Patriots Jaguars on all of our platforms. Check us out on our website, clnsmedia.com, and on our Twitter @PatriotsCLNS. For Evan Lazar, I'm Alex Barth for CLNS.